invited Mr. Johnston passed that motion 2 months ago. The report has been issued. Canadians have questions, and having Mr. Johnston appear is what needs to happen. The summons guarantees that he appears for 3 hours, and it also removes some of the variables, like speakers previous mentioned, that should there be prorogation or other interruptions to sittings of the House, that if the can's kicked down the road weeks and weeks, then we could find ourselves in a position where we don't have the opportunity to ask these vital questions. So the motion in its original form, looking for Mr. Johnston to appear for 3 hours in a week's time, provides the opportunity for accountability that we're looking for.
Of the PROC Committee said that on June 6th, the Honourable David Johnston will be at the PROC Committee. So he will be in the hot seat. And here's what MP Barrett has to say about this and the motion that was brought forward today. Check it out.
And I'm sure everyone's seen the 1064. It was in regard to the parameters around the appearance of the Right Honourable David Johnston. As we know, we as a committee have decided that he should be appearing, and I can confirm up to date he's been very receptive to appearing. So I will now recognize members for discussion of this request. Mr. Barrett, followed by Mr. Berthold.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I have a motion that I'll read into the record, and then I'd like the opportunity to speak to it, if that's all right.
I'm just going to make sure that it's been circulated around in both official languages.
That in relation to its study of foreign election interference pursuant to Standing Order 108.3a and of the intimidation campaign orchestrated by Wei Zhou against the member for Wellington Halton Hills and other members, pursuant to its order of reference of Wednesday, May 10th, 2023, the Committee A directs that a summons be issued to the Special Rapporteur David Johnston to appear before the committee by himself for 3 hours, no later than 7 days following the adoption of this motion, and B, report to the House forthwith that it reaffirms its support for a national public inquiry expressed in its 25th report, which was concurred in by the House on Thursday, March 23, 2023, and calls upon the government to begin consultations among the recognized parties on the appointment of that inquiry within 24 hours with a view to launching it within 2 weeks. If I may, Madam Chair. Over the last several months, we've seen mounting evidence and through reporting in media with reports from Canada's spy agency that there has been escalating foreign interference by the dictatorship in Beijing in our democratic process. The House of Commons voted by majority for a public inquiry to be held into this matter. Instead, the Prime Minister tapped his friend, a member of the Trudeau Foundation, to run, well, essentially to run interference against this direction of Parliament and the call from a majority of Canadians to have a public inquiry. There is clear evidence that Beijing has undertaken and continues to interfere in our elections. And we know that the Trudeau Foundation was used as a vehicle for Beijing to target Canada's Prime Minister in its campaign of foreign influence. All of the opposition parties have agreed that we need to hear from Mr. Johnston, and it's essential that we do hear from him as to why, following Parliament's direction to the government that a public inquiry be held, that he's advised against it. So we want to take a closer look at the conclusions that he has, take a look under the hood, and that's why we've put this motion forward today. Thank you, Madam Chair.
And please support Canadians and people who produce these content.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
And therein lies the problem. The government will get to decide what is the right side of the debate and shut down everyone they consider to be on the wrong side. Let's be clear. This bill doesn't hurt big tech. They'll still monopolize all of social media. Their platforms will still dominate. It's just that government bureaucrats will be able to manipulate the algorithms to shut down the voices of individual Canadians. Top experts on freedom of expression online say that, and so does Margaret Atwood, who calls this creeping totalitarianism. If the Prime Minister is not afraid of debate, why is he so determined to shut it down?